For today's episode, we're going to tackle about the elements of the story, and we're going to analyze the short story Mastiff from the North American literature. Joyce Carol Oates is one of the 21st century writers in America. She's the writer of the novels The Corn Maiden, Blonde, Blackwater, Wonderland, and so on. Joyce Carol Oates is an American novelist, a short story writer, a playwright, a poet, and a critic. She was born on June 16, 1938. She is from Lockport, New York. She is a multi-awarded fiction writer. She taught creative writing at Princeton University. She published 56 novels, 32 collections of short stories, 8 volumes of poetry, and innumerable essays. These are some of Joyce Carol Oates' books which made into movies. Vengeance, a Love Story, Blonde, The Double Lover, and Foxfire. For today's episode, we're going to analyze the short story by Joyce Carol Oates entitled Mastiff. A mastiff is a dog of a large, strong breed with drooping ears and pendulous lips. Since this story is pages long, I'm just going to give you a brief summary. You could find the story via Google. The main character's name is Mariella, but is always referred to as the woman in the story, is hiking with a man she has recently begun dating. The man's name is revealed as Simon towards the end of the story. As she hikes, the woman reflects on her ambivalence towards Simon and her insecurities, one of which is a fear of dog she has harbored since childhood. This is triggered by a mastiff she encounters on the hiking trail. When the dog later attempts to attack her, Simon intervenes and is critically wounded. The ER doctors save him, and the woman re-evaluates her feelings of uncertainty. This story centers on epiphany. An epiphany is a moment in a story when the character achieves a realization or awareness, usually at the end of the story. This situation that happened in her life or his life gives the character a new perspective. Before going further, let's talk about the elements of the story. There are 5 basic elements of the story. These are the characters, setting, plot, conflict, and theme. The characters are the performers of the actions. They are usually people or animals. The setting is the place and time or the location of the story, and this answers the question where and when the story happens. The plot is the series or sequence of events in the story. The conflict is the problem or challenge that drives the action of the story, and the theme is the insight, the moral, the central idea, or the message of the story. Plot is composed of exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, denouement, and resolution. Exposition is the beginning of the story where characters and setting are introduced. The rising action is where the main character faces a series of conflicts. The climax is the peak of the story, it is the most exciting part. The falling action is the event that leads to the end of the story. The denouement is a temporary resolution of the story, and the resolution is the end of the story, where the conflict is finally resolved. If there are basic elements of the story, there are also advanced elements. These advanced elements are point of view, tone, style, and mood. Point of view is how the story is narrated. Is it using the first person, second person, or third person? It could be omniscient, all-knowing, or limited. Tone is the attitude of the writer displayed towards the theme or subject. It could be romantic, calm, confusing, depressed, and etc. Style is the author's unique voice, which are evident in word choices like tone. It could be expository, descriptive, persuasive, or narrative. Mood is the effect the writer creates in the reader, the emotion being evoked through language. It could be satisfied, passionate, rejected, jealous, and etc. There are 3 types of point of view. These are first person, second person, and third person. First person point of view involves the use of either of the 2 pronouns I or we. Second person point of view employs the pronoun you. And a third person point of view uses pronouns like he, she, it, they, or names. Now let's do the analysis of the short story Mastiff by Joyce Carol Oates. We're going to identify the elements of this story. Let's start with the basic elements. Characters. The characters of the story are the woman, whose name is Mariella, 41-year-old woman. The girlfriend. We have the man, who is Simon, 57-year-old, a scientist, the boyfriend. We have Mastiff, Rob Roy, and the owner of Mastiff. The settings in the story are the trail in the Wildcat Canyon, hospital in the early afternoon. The exposition of the story is the man and the woman set off on trail together to the Wildcat Peak. At the start, they noticed a giant mastiff on a leash with its owner. The woman was petrified with its powerful appearance. The rising action of the story. The couple felt awkward being together, annoyed, and found each other's lapses. There's no intimacy in their relationship. They're like strangers. They both have insecurities and emptiness. This is the climax or the most thrilling part of the story. The woman screamed as she panicked. That provoked the dog to attack her. The dog snarled and bit her. Then the man intervened by pushing himself between her and the dog. The dog continued to attack him. The man was bleeding badly from lacerations on his hands, arms, and face. This is the following action. Two rangers arrived and took Mariella and Simon to the ranger station. They were given first aid. Simon was lucky his artery wasn't severed. Then the ambulance brought Simon to the hospital. This is the denouement of the story. The hiker was able to alert the rangers of the incident and took down the plate number of the young man's jeep, who did not even report the attack. He will be prosecuted. A warrant would be issued for his arrest. This is the resolution of the story. In the hospital, Mariella reflected about her relationship with men, but sees it differently and more generously this time. This is the epiphany in the story wherein the character realized how she is truly loved by Simon after sacrificing his life defending her, despite his underlying heart condition. The man stabilizes and the woman spends the night and dreams of the hike again. The conflicts of the story are man versus self and man versus man. Man versus self is Mariella's and Simon's uncertainty and insecurities in life. It's a kind of internal conflict. Man versus man is the dog's owner did not care reporting the attack to the police. He just ran away, and this is an external conflict. The themes of the story are love, sacrifice, and epiphany. The dog is used in the story to open their eyes of what true love is. When the dog attacked Mariella, Simon courageously sacrificed his life to save her. With this act, Mariella realized how he truly loves her, and she was sorry for being cold to him. The point of view in the story is third person omniscient. It's third person because it's with the use of the man and the woman and the name Mariella and Simon. It is omniscient because the writer here is all-knowing. The narrator knows everything about the characters. The narrator enters the mind of each of the characters and reveals what they think and feel. Writer's style is descriptive and narrative. Descriptive for describing the mastiff and the feelings of the couple, and narrative as the story is narrated or told. This story uses flashback as a technique to recall the couple's insecurities and emptiness in life because they are still single at their age without children. The mood of the story started from negative to positive. It began with a woman being scared of the mastiff because she had had trauma when she was a child. Then the man was irritated and disappointed with the woman's actions. The woman was annoyed for she thought he did not care for her. At the end, the characters are grateful for they are still alive and they feel what truly love is. The tones of the story are confused and annoyed. The couple are uncertain of their true feelings that make the audience confused of their relationship status. Annoyed to the Mastiff owner who did not even report the attack and just ran away, and annoyed to the woman's insensitivity. The moral that I have learned from this story, Mastiff, is that some negative experiences in our lives are blessings in disguise. They are giving us lessons to improve ourselves. They help us realize what life truly is and how to deal things positively. We need the most basic need in life in order to be happy and content, and that is love. Thank you so much for watching. This has been your Teacher L. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.